So we started our new chapter already, that reproduction in plants. As you know, the process of reproduction, as you read in class 6 also, okay, to produce its kinds is a characteristics of living organism. Okay, the production of new individual from their parents is known as reproduction. But how do plants reproduce? There are different modes of reproduction in plants. Okay, now we shall learn in this chapter. So, if we talk about modes of reproduction, in class 6 you learned about different parts of a flowering plant. Okay, can you name them? Flowering plants.
The ovary,
Hmm.
ovule,
Yes. Flowering plant. You must read about the sepal, petal, okay, calyx,
sepal,
corolla, endosium, gynoecium. So you have to say like this. So, and you have to try to list the various part of a plant and write the function of each. Okay. So most plants have roots, stems, and leaves. These are called the vegetative part of a plant. So roots, stem, and leaves are forms the vegetative parts of a plant. After a certain period of growth, most plants bear flower. You may have seen the mango tree flowering in spring. Okay, you must see that. It is these flowers that give rise to juicy mango fruit we enjoy in summer. We eat the fruits and usually discard the seeds. Seeds germinate and form new plants. So you can see that from flower we get the fruit, and from seed we will get the new plant. Okay. So what is the function? What is the function of flower in plants? So I tell you that flower is the main reproductive organ of plants. Flower performs the function of reproduction in plants. Flower are the reproductive parts. Okay, so in flowers, Vandosium and Gynoecium are found, and these are the reproductive parts. There are several ways by which plants reproduce their offspring. These are categorized into two types. First is asexual, second is sexual reproduction. In asexual reproduction, okay, plants can give rise to new plants without seed. So you can see in asexual reproduction, okay, plants can give rise to new plants without seed. Whereas in sexual reproduction, new plants are obtained from only seeds. So Paley thought that new plants always grow from seeds, but she has never seen the seeds of sugarcane, potato, and rose. She wants to know how these plants reproduce. Okay, so you'll be also aware about it, that you never see the seeds of sugarcane, potato, and rose like this. So now we come to the point that how these plants reproduce. So it means they reproduce by means of asexual reproduction. Okay, and these are obtained without production of seeds. First is vegetative propagation. Okay, now the word come vegetative propagation. So it is a type of asexual reproduction in which new plants are produced from roots, stems, leaves, and buds. Since reproduction is through the vegetative parts of the plant, it is known as the vegetative reproduction. Okay, so now you can easily understand. Suppose this is a plant, or these are the roots, okay, stem or leaves. So if it comes, new plant will be formed from its roots or its stem or its leaves. It is known as vegetative propagation, because these all three parts are make vegetative parts, and reproduction occur from vegetative parts. That's why we know it as a vegetative propagation. So from this activity you will be understand more well that you have to cut a branch of rose or champa with a node. This piece of branch is termed as cutting. Okay, bury the cutting in the soil. So a node is a part of the stem or branch at which a leaf arises, as you seen in 12.1 figure. Okay, so node part you can see this. You have to cut this part. These are the node from which a branch is arising. Okay, so water the cutting every day and observe its growth. Observe and record the number of days taken from roots to come out and new leaves to arise. Try the same activity by growing money plant in a jar of water and record your observation. So you can see that when stem cutting of rose you just put in the soil and bury in the soil and give water regularly, it shows growth and new stem will be arise from these nodes. So you must have seen flower buds developing into flowers. Apart from flower buds, there are buds in the axial. If you see point of attachment of the leaf at the node of leaves which develop into shoots. Okay. So if you see these structures, bud axials. Okay, these things and these things will be developed into new shoot or stem. So a bud is called vegetative buds. A bud consists of a short stem around which mature overlapping leaves are present. Vegetative buds can also give rise to new plants. Now you all must be understand by this activity very well that how vegetative propagation take place. So you have to take a fresh potato, observe the scars on it, okay, with the help of a magnifying glass, or it can be easily you can see on a if you take a very older potato, you can also see this very easily. You may find buds in the stem. Okay, in them, these scars are called eyes. Cut the potato into small portions, each with an eye, and bury them in the soil. Water the pieces regularly for a few days and observe their progress. Okay, so what do you find, students? You can find if first uh, I show you that what are these scars. Okay, these small structures are scars. Okay, from these this type of structure you will be find after some days. So likewise you can also grow ginger or turmeric. Okay, potato plant start sprouting. Okay, sprouting you go find sprouts. You already read in many activity when you do in the last chapters also that you sprouted the gram seeds. Okay, and you can eat also them. It is very nutritious also. So these are the sprout. So you can also grow ginger or turmeric also likewise. Okay, so these are the actually stem of the plant. That's why the question also asks sometime that these are the roots or the stems. So these are the stems of the plant which we grow of these turmeric, ginger, and potato. Bryophyllum. If you see sprout leaf plant has buds in the margins of leaves. Okay, as you seen in 12.4 figure. This is the ginger figure 12.3. If a leaf of this plant falls on a moist soil, each bud giving rise to new plant. Okay, roots of some plants can also give rise to new plants. Sweet potato and dahlia are examples. So plants such as cacti produce new plants when their parts get detached. Okay, from the main plant body. Each detached part can grow into a new plant. So if you see the leaf of Bryophyllum with buds in the margin. So these type of buds whenever you see it means they can also develop into a new plant. And many examples you will be read till now of vegetative reproduction because It is take place from the stem or from the leaves or from the roots of the plant. Okay, that's why we called it as vegetative propagation. Now Buju wants to know if there is any advantage of vegetative propagation. So what is the advantage? Okay, so plants produced by vegetative propagation take less time, okay, to grow and bear flower and fruits earlier than those produced from seeds. Okay, so one benefit is there, that two benefits are actually there. One is it is takes less time, and these grow and bear flower and fruits earlier than those produced from seeds. The new plants are exact copies of the parent plant. Okay, so these new plants are the exact copies, or you can say clone of these their parent plant, as they are produced from a single parent only. Okay, so that's why these are the actual copy. So later in this chapter, you will learn that plant produced by sexual reproduction have characteristic of both the parents. Okay, plants produce seeds as a result of sexual reproduction also. So in asexual reproduction, the you can say that the new plant are exact copies of their parent plant. Okay, because in asexual reproduction there is a difference that only one parent is involving. Okay, that's from one plant is produces new other plant. Okay, so there is another method of asexual reproduction which is known as budding. Okay, you have to understand that. Now we just read about the various processes or various types of asexual reproduction. Okay, in which first uh, we read about the vegetative propagation and its various types. Okay, mainly three types there: vegetative propagation through stem, vegetative propagation through roots, and through leaves. Okay, now we move to the next or second method of asexual reproduction, which is known as budding. In budding, you have already learnt about the tiny organisms like yeast can be seen only under a microscope. Okay, you all understand it. These grow and multiply every few hours. Okay, if sufficient nutrients are made available to them. Remember that yeast is a single celled organism. Okay, so let us see how they reproduce. So for this, you have to do an activity. You have to take a piece of yeast cake or yeast powder from a bakery or a chemist shop. Take a pinch of yeast and place it in a container with some water. So add a spoonful of sugar and shake to dissolve it. Okay, so you have to purchase this from chemist shop. Okay, yeast, if you make some uh, sweets, okay, and bakery products in your if you someone have any shop, or you can also make in your home, okay, these type of product. So you have to put an yeast in your dough. Okay, so you can be aware about it. So you have to add a spoonful of sugar and shake to dissolve it. Keep it in the warm part of a room. Okay, you have to understand that. After an hour, put a drop of this liquid on a glass slide and observe under a microscope. What do you observe? You may see the formation of, yes, as you already do this activity. Okay, that first what you have to do, you have to take a yeast cake or yeast powder from a bakery, okay, or a chemist shop. Then you have to take a pinch of yeast and place it in a container with some water. Then you have to add a spoonful of sugar and shake to dissolve it. Okay, keep it in the warm part of a room. After an hour, you can see that uh, uh, what will we see when you put only few drop or one drop of a liquid on a glass slide, okay, and observe under a microscope. So you observe many uh, yeast cells are there. Okay, so that's why we are talking about the yeast. Then the small bud-like projection coming out from the yeast cell is called a bud. Okay, if you see the structure of this is the yeast cell. Okay, one yeast cell, and it's develop a bud here. Okay, then a new bud is formed completely when from this one bud, second bud also arise, third, like a chain. Then it forms a many chain of buds. Okay, so they detached from its parent plant. So it's the yeast cell here. Okay, so then it will go grows to the new plant. So the small bud-like projection coming out from the yeast cell is called a bud. So the bud gradually grows and gets detached from the parent plant and forms a new yeast cell. Okay, so these are detached. Okay, means passed down, detached from this parent plant, and they forms a new plant individually. Every chain, the new yeast cells grows, matures, and produces. Okay, some more yeast cells. Sometimes another bud arise from the bud, forming a chain of buds. In this process, if this process continues, okay, a large number of yeast cells are produced in a short time. So you can understand it very easily that if this process continues, okay, making of buds is continuous, so long chain is formed here. Okay, so in very short time produces many yeast cells are there. So sometime when if you see when you make a dough, okay, I think when you make any dish like a bakery item, if you make or if you make okay any sweets, okay, so you add little bit of this yeast, okay, in your dough, and when you put it on from 1 hour in the room, okay, then your dough will be increases in size. That's why this is happen, because each cell are grows there. Okay, so here you will be understand all things. Now we move to the next part of or method of asexual reproduction is fragmentation. Okay, as it clearly understood by its name, it's taken by a fragment of a plant. Okay, a part of a plant. You might have seen slimy green patches in ponds. Okay, or in other stagnant water bodies. These are algae. Okay, in Kumabni you say the kai. Okay, in your villages, in your nola, you outside there green structures are there. No, many green structures are there. So you call them a kai, or it is in Hindi seval. Okay, so in English these are called algae. When water and nutrients are available, algae grow and multiply rapidly by fragmentation. Okay, so these are grow rapidly by fragmentation, and alga breaks up. Okay, in singular term it is known as alga breaks up into two or more fragments. Okay, suppose this is a alga. Okay, then what will happen, it is cut into two parts, it is divided into two parts like this, and from these parts new algae will be arise. So this is the process of fragmentation. Okay, so these fragments or pieces. So if you see, the process continues. Okay, this process continues and they cover a large area in a short period of time. Okay, this is the example. Okay, you can easily understand fragmentation in Spirogara. It is a algae. Okay, so it's one fragment divided into two, and these two uh, give birth to new parent plant. Okay, they form a new plant. They individually. Okay, it is also grows as a new plant. It is also grows as a new plant. So this is the process of fragmentation. It is very easy, you can easily understand. Then last process of asexual production is here, spore formation. In chapter first, you learned that the fungi, okay, so you know that, okay, when you put some bread piece, okay, aside in a wet area for some time, okay, you will be you can grow the fungi. So repeat activity 1.2. Okay, observe the spores in the cotton like mesh on the bread. When spores are released, they keep floating in the air. Okay, if you see, the structure or figure reproduction through spore formation in fungus. Okay, the spores are formed in sporangium here. So as they are very light, they can cover long distances. Okay, spore formation also occur in ferns. Okay, these are known as surae. Okay, in which spores are, these bear the spores. Okay, I hope you already know about the ferns. This plant grow very rapidly in your area also. So spore are asexual reproductive bodies. Each spore is covered by a hard protective coat to withstand unfavorable conditions such as high temperature and low humidity, so they can survive for a long time. Under favorable conditions, a spore germinates and develops into a new individual. Plants such as moss and ferns, as you see in figure, also reproduce by means of spores. So these are the methods of asexual reproduction which we will read today. So if you have any confusion, you can ask. You all understand the asexual reproduction methods, these four methods: vegetative propagation, second one budding, third fragmentation, and fourth spore forming. All students will be understand. Hello students, you will understand these all processes. Okay. So now I am sending you the question of which is based on today's topic. Okay. So you have to do them in your group. I will be share.